We studied geophysics of India in Indian plate tectonics, and therein we learnt the geological history, geological formation of India, which varies from place to place, and there is spatial structural variation in India. For example, the Plateau region of India is made up of igneous and metamorphosed rocks, and these belong to Gondwana land and the past geological rocks, while the latest tertiary sedimentary formation is found in the northern Himalayan region, and from both the sediment deposited in Gangetic plain is the recent Holocene alluvium. Likewise, the west coast plain and east coast plain are erosional and depositional respectively. Thus, there is a spatial variation in structure of India, and this is a structure that controls topography. Sometimes commissions ask question that how structure of India controls topography. Then you will have to correlate structure and landform. But here at this time we have to focus on the physiographic regions of India. It is also called relief regions of India, or it is called physical divisions of India. Related to it, there are several technical geographical terms which should be clear in your mind, because sometimes questions are asked with the help of different terms. Here the terms are physical division or physical region, sometimes physiographic region, sometimes relief region, topographic regions, topological regions, morphological regions, morphogenetic regions, and geomorphic regions. All are nearly the same, but with the changing level of students' knowledge and perception, the terms change. At the same time, the study becomes from micro to micro. For example, for UG student who is beginner in geography, these terms are asked. For example, physical region, wherein you demarcate and define that Himalayan physical region, Plateau physical region, and plain physical region. But if question is on physiographic regions, physiographic means the term consists of a word graphic. Graphic means you are giving a graph of that region. While describing and demarcating Himalayan region, you give its detail, its process, its landforms, its structure. In the same way, relief region is also nearly the same. Relief means the vertical height from sea level, or the ups and downs of a topography or region. Thus, in Himalayan region, there are very high lofty mountain peaks which are snow-capped on one side. The other side, there are very deep V-shaped valleys and gorges. Thus, the relief or topography of Himalayas varies from this plateau topography. In plateau, there are flat-topped plateau, some flat valleys, and other landforms. Thus, relief region differs a little bit from the physical region. The next term is topographic region. Topographic means, topo means landforms, graphic means its presentation, and you might have seen the topographical sheet of a place prepared by the Survey of India. In topo sheet or topographical sheet, the physical features as well as the cultural features or landscapes are shown collectively. For example, with the help of contour lines, the hills, ranges, valleys are shown, but at the same time with some colors, the agricultural land, forest land are also shown. And one is topological region. Topographic means the presentation of the relief landform, while topological means science of formation, causes of formation. For example, there is a topography, say valley, hill, then what are its forming processes? You throw light on that also, and that process is being controlled by structure. That's why structure process of landform is focused in it. Next point is morphological region. Morpho means form, logical means science, the science of landform formation. Again, its process and structure is studied, wherein we study at meso level and sometimes at sometimes at micro level. For example, very miniature landforms like small sand dunes, volcanoes, cliffs and refillant pool formed by the fluvial depositional process. Next is morphogenetic region. Morphogenetic region is nearly the same, but in it there is term genetic means genesis. On its genesis, on the forces endogenic and exogenic affecting the formation existence of the landform. That's why in morphogenetic region process is focused. Next is geomorphic region. In geomorphic we study the same region but perspective differs. Morpho means landform. Geo means geographical. Geographical means geographical landforms. They may be micro, meso, micro, and morphic stand for form. In different micro landforms, there are meso landforms. For example, in a mountain range, there are peaks, passes, valleys. Why those peaks, passes, valleys are there? How they have been formed? Which are the processes? This we emphasize in the geomorphic region. Thus, if we see deeply, then we begin with the physical region, but at last in the same region we study process, structure and function or stage of the landform as the level of knowledge increases, the scholar of geography proceeds in studying these regions, but the regions are nearly the same. For example, it is Himalayan mountain region which may be termed as physical region, physiographic region, relief region, etc. It can be simplified by an example that as a child looks at the mother. In the beginning, that mother is a complete human body, but when that child becomes a doctor, that child looks the mother body parts, nervous system, blood, etc. It means in the beginning that child looked at mother as a complete human body, but at last at a very micro level like blood sample, bone sample and so on. In the same way, when a geography student begins, he studied the physical region, but at the last he studied the geomorphic regions because here structure, process and stage are emphasized. So these are the different terms used here in the study of the today's topic. And how these are demarcated? There is only one criteria, but 2 points are there. These are demarcated on the basis of height from sea level. This is one criteria. But the second important point is also there, and topographical characteristics, and sometimes geological structure is also taken into account. But we have to first study how height is the main criteria of demarcation of India into physical region. Question may be asked by Commission that there is spatial variation in structure which is responsible for spatial variation in topography. Then you should correlate the structure or rock with the relief. But here relief demarcated on the basis of contour line or height from mean sea level. Here the sea level previously was measured at the Chennai, but at the present time at Bombay High. If you put a sharp-edged knife at Kanyakumari and move it northward, cut the entire land of India, then there will be a plane PLANE, and that is called Datum Plane. That is sea level line or zero height line. From that, the height of every place of plateau, of plain or mountain is measured. And here the spelling of plane will be PLAIN. Datum plane differs from the river depositional plane. Now, on the basis of height, it is demarcated, as we have studied in the first paper, that the land up to 150 meter height from sea level are plain, and those are depositional, especially by fluvial process by the river. And this definition is applicable all over world. But above the 150 meter height starts plateau, maybe mountain also. But the height of plateau ranges from 150 meter to about 600 meter. But the main character of plateau is its very hard structure are igneous and metamorphosed rock. Secondly, it has flat surface. Thus, these are the two characteristics of plateau land all over world. It means all the plateau lands, maybe this Indian plateau, Arabian plateau, Guyana plateau, consists of or part of the Angara land or Gondwana land. And as per definition, we have studied that above 150 meter mountain also starts, and its example is here along the southern foothill of the Shivalik, where 150 meter contour line is there, and above that Himalayas start. Now there will be confusion that above 150 meter it is plateau or it is mountain. Its answer, this problem will be solved by the chapter Geology, Structure. It means plateau has structural character, and this folded mountain has unique structural character of sedimentary rock. Thus, this is the main criteria of demarcation of India continent or a country in physiographic region or in relief region or topographic region. And there are three criteria. Number one, height from mean sea level shown with the help of contour line. Number 2, topographic characteristics means the flat top or peaked surface. And number 3, structure. It is geology that controls the topography. Thus, after understanding the relief, after understanding the criteria of demarcation of India in physiographic region, now let us study the physiographic or topographic regions of India. And here India has been divided in 5 physical, topographic or geomorphic region. Number 1, Himalayan mountain region, that is here. 2, Indo-Satluj Ganga Brahmaputra plain, that starts from river Indus at present in Pakistan, then Satluj, then Ganga, then Brahmaputra plain. And third is this Indian Plateau region, that is nearly of triangular shape in south. And fourth is coastal plain region, which is the western coastal plain region and eastern coastal plain region. And fifth one is island region consisting of Andaman and Nicobar and this Lakshadweep group of island. And if we see on this 3D India map, this is Himalayan mountain region and this is the Indian Plateau region, sometimes also called Peninsular Plateau region. But there is difference in the Peninsular Plateau, Deccan Plateau, Northern Plateau and Indian Plateau. Indian Plateau is very common and general term showing this entire part of plateau, that includes Aravalli also, and this consists of the Gondwana land structure. But if we draw a line connecting the head of this Bay of Bengal and head of Cambay, this line to its south, this is the triangular shaped peninsular plateau, and this is also sometimes termed as the southern plateau. And to the south of Narmada, it is Deccan Plateau. Deccan means southern, and this is also, and the deposition of lava here is also called lava plateau. To the north of Narmada, it is northern plateau, this one to its north, and northern plateau plus peninsular plateau is equal to or collectively called the Indian Plateau, and thus the third physiographic region is this Indian Plateau, and fourth physiographic region is West Coast Plain, which is erosional because due to tectonic faulting here, the marine waves from the Arabian Sea caused by the southwest monsoon eroded here the west coast, thus it is erosional. Contrary to it, the east coast plain is depositional. Why? Because the drainage from northwest to southeast from our plateau brought down voluminous sediment deposited in along the coast. Thus, east coast plain is depositional, while the fifth physiographic region, that is Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep, have unique topography and structural characteristics, hence that is an independent physiographic region, that is island region. Now here we will study all these regions separately, independently and minutely, but let us first demarcate different topographic or physical regions. For demarcation, as we have discussed, that the height from mean sea level is the first criteria which is shown here. Now let us keep that in our mind logically, scientifically. Here it is the Himalayan range and to its south it is Gangetic Plain. In Gangetic Plain, the subtlest plain or Punjab Plain and this Himalayan region, especially the Himachal Pradesh, are divided by the 350 meter contour line. Means at the foothill of Shivalik, there is 350 meter contour line, to the north of which the Shivalik part of Himalaya is there, and to its south it is fertile depositional plain. If we proceed eastward, it is 300 meter contour line that is between the Uttarakhand and UP. Thus here 350 meter contour line demarcates a boundary between Uttarakhand Himalaya and UP plain. We are the geographers, that's why it is our duty to demarcate the physiographic regions. As we see in India, there are political upheavals, there are demand of independent states, not on the basis of language, rather on the geo-economic basis. And as we see that in India, the geographical conditions vary from place to place. That's why it is geographical condition, geographical resource that controls economy of that area, and that's why the poverty and prosperity are largely controlled by the geographical conditions, resources and geo-economic resources. That's why the demand of separate states or statehoods will continue, and their geographer's role will be significant to give idea regarding the demarcation. And geographers here helps demarcate the Uttarakhand southern boundary when it came into existence in 2000. Now we move east, and now from this point where Kali rivers flowing along the border of Uttarakhand and Nepal enters UP. From here 150 meter contour line separates the Himalayan topographic region from this Gangetic topographic plain region. Now here is 150 meter contour that we had learned in defining the height of plain. But wonderful thing is that why here 300 meter contour line, why here 350 meter contour line. UPSC may have question that generally the contour line of 150 separates plain and mountain, but why the contour line of 300 and 350 meter separates the subtlest plain from the Himalayan region? Explain it. Then how you will explain? You will have to seek the help of the geological formation and geophysics, and for that you will have to explain that when Indian Plateau moved northward, its western extension Aravalli collided with Tibet. There was linear pressure due to which this Arabian block land faulted, submerged, which was overlain with the marine water. But simultaneously at the same time, due to linear pressure, this Aravalli region was elevated, and due to its elevation here the contour line was also elevated. Then the question will arise that if we are taking 150 meter contour line, then if it was elevated, then we should have shifted it southward. But virtually here along this Delhi ridge, the height of place is not below 150 meters. That's why we have to take 350 meter as the criteria of demarcation between mountain and this plain. The second question arises, why this ridge is considered as plain? Because if we see the National Capital Region, especially GNU, are located on the ridge of Raisena Hill, which are the part of this Delhi region, relief and structure. And it means in demarcating, the second criteria that we take is structure. But structurally, geologically, this elevated part is part of the Indian Plateau, but after a long duration of denudation, weathering and erosion, here a thin layer of sediment has been deposited, which looks like the structure of the plain. That's why it is considered into plain, and this is the region that 350 meter and 300 meter contours demarcate here the Himalayas and the plain. Thus, there may be independent question here. Now, here it is 150 meter contour line that moves eastward, separating Himalayas and this Gangetic and this Brahmaputra plain. And here at Sikkim, to the south of Darjeeling, near Jalpaiguri, there is foothill of Shivalik, there is a Bhabhar region, and this 100 meter contour passes through. To its east, here it is Bhutan. Bhutan is the country which is completely located in Himalayan region. Thus, to the south of Bhutan, the 150 meter contour line moves ahead, and it demarcates the Arunachal Pradesh, which is mountainous, and this Assam, which is plain, reaches here near Dibrugarh, and at the meeting point of this Brahmaputra, Lohit and Tirap near Sadia, this line turns south, again separates the Brahmaputra plain from this Arunachal Himalaya. To the south of this Arunachal, again the Himalayan ranges turn south, and through Nagaland those come to Manipur and Mizoram. This is a mountainous state, and this line turns southwest, and here to the west of here Nagaland, this comes up to Assam, especially this Silchar district, and then turns west and along the northern margin of this Meghalaya plateau. This separates the Brahmaputra plain from the northern margin of Garo, Khasi, Jaintia. While moving west, ultimately it turns south up to here Dhubari district. Then it moves eastward. It is 150 meter contour line. Then near Tripura it turns south and thus demarcates boundary between this Bangladesh and the eastern Indian states, and then it comes up to the southernmost point. So this is about the demarcating line to the south of Himalayas. There may be independent question by UPSC, demarcate the Himalayas from the northern plain and give detailed account of the demarcating line with cause and effect. Then you will throw light on this. Now let us come to demarcate this plain from this Indian Plateau region. According to normal definition, here it is 150 meter contour line, but if we move west here, because of Delhi Ridge, as we have discussed, it has risen in geological past at the time of Karakoram phase of Himalayan orogeny. Due to its rising, here contour also has risen up. That's why here it is 200 meter contour line along the Delhi Ridge, and to its west here again the contour line becomes normal, that is 150 meter. Here there is one suggestion to you that you should keep the height of different capitals, metropolitan cities in your mind. For generalization, you will keep these contour lines in mind, which will help you answer height of different places in general. Because once in IS interview, question from a student was asked, what is the average height of Delhi railway station from mean sea level? Whenever you go on a railway station, you should look at the height of that station from mean sea level, because you are geographer, you are a general citizen of India, and you know the topographic variation of India. Now here along this ridge, although the contour line is 200 meter, but here the characteristics of landform, pedological or soil characteristics resemble with that of the plain or surrounding plain. Means the characteristic of this Delhi Ridge here resembles with the soil characteristic, sandy characteristic of this Rajasthan plain. Now let us proceed eastward, and 150 meter contour line comes up to the northern tip of this Raj Mahal range. As you have seen that Raj Mahal range is the northeastward extension of Indian Plateau, consisting of the ancient Gondwana rocks, and its height is also above 150 meter. That's why 150 meter contour lines after this Raj Mahal turns south, and along the eastern margin of this plateau moves the south. And here to the east of this Jharkhand and Odisha state, there is one unique feature on which several times questions have been asked. For example, questions are there that this West Bengal state is made up of 4 physiographic regions. For example, in West Bengal, Darjeeling district is of the Himalayan structure and Himalayan topographic character, while its major part is part of the Gangetic plain, that is alluvial depositional plain. Its southern part resembles coastal plain because there are different depositions by marine process and by fluvial process. But at the same time, in West Bengal, in some districts, the plateau topography is also found. It means today you have to look very keenly on the map of India, especially on the map of West Bengal, that the western districts of West Bengal like Singhbhumi, Durgapur, Asansol, Purulia, etc. are the part of the political part of West Bengal, but these are the physiographic or structural part of the Indian Plateau and are the contour line of 150 meter passes through this West Bengal. It means in West Bengal there are 4 physiographic regions: Himalayan region, plain region, coastal plain and plateau region. Independent question may be on it. Now, this 150 meter contour separating here this plateau from this plain turns south and reaches here up to the Suvarnrekha river. Here it is river Suvarnrekha, and it in the lower reaches separates boundary between 2 political states. Number 1 here it is West Bengal and number 2 it is Odisha, and here this 150 meter contour meets with 75 meter contour. Why 75? It will be discussed separately, but here now you have studied, you have learned how this Indo-Satluj, Gangetic and Brahmaputra plain is demarcated by contour lines from Himalayas and from this plateau region. Now, after knowing the contour line, their height, their causes, we have to come to learn the contours of this west coast plain and this east coast plain. Here it is west coast plain and it is east coast plain, and you should keep clear difference between the west coast plain and West Ghat mountain in your mind. West coast plain is plain area which is erosional, while the West Ghat mountain is a mountain, not folded mountain, rather black or faulted mountain. And we have already discussed that the Western Ghat mountain is black and it looks mountain while seeing from the west coast plain, because it is above 150 meter contour line. But if we see it from this plateau region, this West Ghat mountain is not mountain, rather it is scarp or escarpment of the Indian plateau. Now we have to take decision about the northern end of this West Ghat mountain, west coastal plain and its southern end. If we see in the south, here it is Cape Comorin, the southernmost point of India mainland, and near it there is the southernmost peak of the Indian plateau, that is Mahendgiri. To its north there is Nagarcoil district, and train travels from Nagarcoil to Kanyakumari to Cape Comorin. Thus the denuded ridge runs to the south of Nagarcoil and touches the Cape Comorin. To its west, it is West Coast Plain. To the east of this line, it is East Coast Plain. But here, if we see very minutely, the east and west coast plains meet together, excepting that ridge and some peaks, very low denuded peaks. Thus, in the south, you are seeing color that both the plains are meeting. Thus, to conclude, the southern limit of West Ghat mountain is here this Mahendgiri, while generally the West Ghat mountain range and the East Ghat mountain range meet together at this Nilgiri. But even then, a ridge extends southward, separating West Coast Plain and East Coast Plain, and it is not 150 meter contour which is traced in the south. Thus, for generalization, we draw 150 meter contour to separate this plateau from this coastal plain, and that runs northward, and which will be the northward limit. This is also a very important issue, because here there is one Kalsubai, one Chandor hill, and these are very high peaks in Maharashtra, and to its north near Songarh, to the east of Songarh, there is a West Ghat mountain, to the north of which it is Tapi fault, through which river Tapi drains. To the north of Tapi, it is Satpura mountain range. To the south of Tapi, it is Gavilgarh and Harishchand range. The height of Gavilgarh and Harishchand is generally 600 meter. So, can you imagine that these are mountain ranges? No. These are really the fault or block mountains, which are the part of this plateau land, and direction of Gavilgarh and Harishchand is from west to east generally. Thus, the northern margin of this West Ghat mountain may be considered the Tapi river or Tapi fault, and to its west it is the west coast plain demarcated by 150 meter contour. But if we move north of that Tapi river, then it is not part of west coast plain, rather that the Tapi and Narmada delta are the part of Gujarat plain, and the main character of this Gujarat plain is its submerged nature. During the tectonic activity, this part was fractured and subsided. It became low-lying area where the marine water and mostly the rainwater is stored, accumulated. Thus, here we can define that it is 150 meter contour line up to Tapi mouth, which separates this west coast plain and the Indian plateau. Now, after it, let us study the contour line that separates the east coast plain from this plateau or from the East Ghat mountain. As we know that the West Ghat mountain is the margin or escarpment of Indian plateau, which is due to fault. But the East Ghat mountain is a folded mountain having sedimentary structure which is not faulted, and it has been undoubtedly denuded at a large scale. That's why it is very low. And second very important point is that due to the slope of Indian plateau from northwest to southeast, it has been denuded, and the plateau rivers make considerable deposition along the east coast plain, and the maximum deposition of sediment is here in this Bay of Bengal, which is by the Ganga, its tributaries, and Brahmaputra and its tributaries. That's why this Bay of Bengal is the largest geosyncline at present in the world, and after it, that is the Mississippi or the Mexico Gulf geosyncline. And in geophysics, we have studied that this deposition caused submergence of this entire part of India. That's why the eastern part subsided, and due to its subsiding, the contour lines also went down. That's why here it is 150 meter contour line which separates the Coromandel coast in Tamil Nadu and the Plateau region. But here in Andhra Pradesh, it is 100-meter contour line that separates East Coast Plain, Rayalaseema Plain, Andhra Plain from the Andhra Pradesh or from this Telangana Plateau. And here it is 75-meter contour line that separates Utkal coast from Odisha Plateau region. And the northeastern most point of this 75-meter contour line is Meghasani Hill, which is the northeastern part of this Odisha Plateau region. Now the problem of decreasing of the contour line separating East Coast Plain from the East Ghat mountain from south is maybe explained geophysically. How you can explain geophysically? Because the northeastern part of India, especially this Odisha region, underwent subduction, while the southern part means this Tamil Plateau, Mysore Plateau to the south of this Kaveri fault or here Great Mayor fault has been a little bit elevated in comparison to this Odisha coast. That's why due to northeastward tilting of the Indian Plateau, the height of contour line became more 150 meter in Tamil Nadu, only 100 meter in Andhra Pradesh and only 75 meter here in Odisha. There may be question that if this contour line due to submergence went down, then here may be 150 meter contour. But according to the general definition, we should take here 150 meter contour and declare that this 150 meter contour separates Odisha plain from Odisha plateau. But that 150 meter contour at present due to subduction will be on the East Ghat mountain. Thus, to the east of 150 meter contour line, there may be part of East Ghat mountain range, so people will not believe that this range, although has been mathematically put under the plain region, but it is virtually, topographically and structurally, geologically not part of plain. That's why here in Odisha, the 75 meter contour line separating the plain which is depositional from this plateau has been taken into consideration as dividing line. Thus, there may be a question by the Commission that the contour line separating the East Coast Plain and the East Ghat mountain decreases from south to north. Thus, these are some of the important points separating the topographic features of India, which are here Himalayan region, Indo-Satluj, Ganga, Brahmaputra plain, entire Plateau region and West and East Coast Plain region, while this group of island, that is Andaman and Nicobar and Lakshadweep, are independent region surrounded by the large water body, the structure of which are different because the structure and height of this Lakshadweep is unique. Structurally, it is part of here Aravalli system, while structurally this Andaman and Nicobar group of island is part of Himalayan structure igneous structure and coral structure. Thus, this is about the topographic variation in India, its demarcation. Here, noteworthy thing is that this is called Indo-Satluj Ganga Brahmaputra Plain. Brahmaputra Plain completely lies in India. It is not located in China, while Brahmaputra River is in China. But this Gangetic Plain is the agricultural heartland India, completely located in India. The Punjab Plain, also sometimes called Satluj Plain, formed by river Satluj and tributaries, is in India, while Indo Plain, Indo means formed by river Indus, largely lies here in Pakistan. Before participation, means 1947, geographers studied it collectively and termed this Indo-Satluj Ganga Brahmaputra Plain or Great Northern Plain. But after 1947, the term Indo has been handed over to Pakistan geographically. Here it is now Satluj, Ganga and Brahmaputra Plain. Thus, you keep yourself ready for the questions asked by the commissions on the contour lines separating Himalayan Physiographic Region from the plain region, the Plateau region from this plain region, and especially on the contour line separating East Coast Plain region from the East Ghat mountain region.